hype, and it was highlighted by Colby Covington's very dominant win over Tyron Woodley in the main event. He wins officially via TKO in the 5th. Woodley broke his rib. He confirmed that with me on Sunday. But at that point, it was elementary. It looked like it was going to be either a 50-45 or a 50-44 victory for Colby Covington. It was very one-sided from the jump. Just very, very quickly and in a broad sort of spectrum, how impressed were you with what Colby Covington, the fighter, did on Saturday against former champion Tyron Woodley after all the talk and all the buildup?
The best fight night card of all time? Okay. Maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself. I know I get a bit excited at times, but I mean, it was a great fight night card. And man, let me tell you something. If you're Colby Covington and his new team that they mentioned 7 times on the show, they got to be very happy. I mean, because he fought a fight like with all the things that surrounded the fight and how massive the fight was, the buildup of all the years, for him to have that type of performance, they could not have asked for anything better. And this is the first time he's fought away from American Top Team, right? Is it MMA Masters or something like that he's training at? Yep. It just kind of shows, that this dude is as good as they come. And he dominated from start to finish. It was his fight. And he's actually still improving, which is very scary because he's been so good for so long already.
What surprised you more, his dominance, which I was equally impressed by, and I think you can make a strong case right now that he's the second best welterweight in the world, behind obviously the champion Cormier Usman, who beat him in December. Was it his dominance in his first fight since that loss to Usman in December, or was it Woodley's performance? Now here we are, 15 straight rounds, 75 minutes. I feel like it's a hard question for you to answer, but again, you're just left wondering, like, why isn't he pulling the trigger? Why isn't he looking like the old Tyron Woodley?
So I think it's a number of things. And I think you have to really give credit to these guys. We got to be very careful not to, downplay what Usman, Burns, and Colby has done. But it was about Covington, because what impressed me the most was not only his wrestling, but even in the stand-up. He beat Tyron in the stand-up. He threw more body kicks than I've ever seen him throw. He feinted much more, throwing many more feints before going into his takedowns. A lot of times, Colby would just wrestle, right? At any cost, he wanted to get you to the ground. That's how he ended up getting submitted early in his career, right? Because he was shooting without setting things up. Now, you don't have to worry about Colby taking bad attacks because he's so comfortable on his feet now. And he backed Tyron up. He got him exactly where he needed him to be. And there wasn't a moment in that fight where you felt like Tyron Woodley could land a right hand that was going to end the fight, because ultimately it's Tyron's right hand that's going to keep him in fights. Well, Covington completely shut that down. And in the fight, as it went longer, he started to dominate even more. Now, Ariel, this is one thing we always think about when we think about Colby Covington. Insane pace, insane cardio, right? He is willing to go harder earlier than his opponents because he knows that his cardio is going to last him into the 5th round. But we saw a patient Colby Covington on Saturday, right? It wasn't that reckless pressure that we have gotten accustomed to. He was much more patient in his approach, and it still paid dividends because as the fight went longer, Tyron got more tired, and Tyron was the one that was getting beaten worse as the fight went on. So, I thought that new, more patient approach will help him if he finds himself in another fight with Kamaru Usman.